Yo, what's going on, guys? Now, I want to thank you for all the support that I got for my last Anthem video. I really appreciate it. I really didn't think it would, do that well. But just don't forget to subscribe for more Anthem videos I will have coming out. And hope you guys enjoy the video. Now, you see the title of the video, I will be explaining like which Javelin might be the most popular out of all of them. Now, the game hasn't come out yet, or the beta, so we can't, this is all speculation. And first, before we talk about, which ones are, the most, that would be the most popular, we gotta talk about the abilities and all the skills that each one have. Now, we're gonna start off with the Ranger. I'm gonna explain. Now, I might have some gameplay of some of the skills and abilities. Now, some of the skills abilities that's that they released, they have no gameplay for yet. So some I might have gameplay for, some I might not. But let's get into the Ranger. Now, we're gonna start with the melee ability for Ranger. He has a shock mace. Basically, it is a melee weapon that deploys amount of voltage damage through his enemies. Basically, it's just like a huge stick with electricity that runs through it, and you do electricity damage to your enemies. Now we're gonna go to his grenade sets. He has a frag grenade, inferno grenade, a frost grenade, a seeker grenade, and a sticky bomb grenade. He has a lot of grenades. Now, as you should know, the frag grenade, it deals a massive amount of damage in a large area effect. And for its inferno grenade, it ignites the area, dealing damage and setting enemies on fire, doing AoE damage. And he has frost grenades. Now, the frost grenades, it does basically what it says. You throw the grenade at an enemy, it freezes them in place. Now, for a seeker grenade that they never release. Now that it splits into small grenades which seeks out targets that are nearby. And for a sticky bomb, you attach it to an enemy. It does a large amount of damage to that single target. Now we're gonna go to his assault launcher gear, which is basically his side cannon, his little missile launcher on his right side or left side. Now he has a homing missile, an energy pulse, a spark beam, venom darts, and a blast missile. Now for his homing missile is basically as it says, a homing missile, a projectile that seeks out targets for a small AoE explosion. And he has the energy pulse. The energy pulse unleashes a blast of pure energy, hitting an enemy with an incredible force. Basically, it sounds like it pushes the enemy back like real far, I'm guessing. You never know. Now for the spark beam, it fires an unsustained beam of energy, doing continuously damage. Basically, like just a beam that keeps shooting, doing damage by time. Now he has venom darts. Now venom darts, it launches a valley of darts that seeks out targets for acid damage. Now I don't know if it will like poison the enemies or not, but just little poison darts. They probably do damage over time effects probably, since it's acid. And then he has his blast missile. Now he fires a missile that explodes for a large area effect. Now I think the Colossus has this too, if I'm correct. I'm not sure or not, but don't correct me if I'm wrong. But now for his support gear, now he has bulwark point. It deploys a spherical field that deflects incoming projectiles. Now it probably, I don't know if they show gameplay of this or not, but it's probably like a little shield you put in front of yourself, or a point that you slam down, and then it has a little area that you can stand in that reflects the projectiles. I'm not really sure. They haven't showed gameplay of it, if I'm correct. But for the next one, he have muster point. Now it's the same thing as bulwark, but it's just mustard. Now the muster point, it creates a field that increases damage for teammates who are all in a radius of it. Basically, it's like a damage buff to the whole group if you stand in it. Now for his ultimate, which you should already know that it is OP. Now the multi-target missile battery ult. Now if you know how Iron Man is, you know how he got his side cannons, how they lock on multiple targets and then shoot missiles out. It's basically just like that, basically. To be honest, there's no need to like really go into detail about it. It's just like the Iron Man, how he locks on targets with his side cannons. and they shoot out and shoot missiles at that designated target. So that is all the abilities and skills that are for the Ranger that is available right now. Now I will go into the Interceptor next, but I hope you guys enjoy this little part. Now I will go into the next part for the Interceptor right now. Now the Interceptor is basically the assassin of the group. The quick do damage, disappear, and fast movement speed and all that. Now I will go with the assault systems and support systems for the Interceptor. Now for the assault systems, they have the Secret Glaive, Acid Bomb, Cryo Glaive, Cluster Mine, and Spark Dash. Now for the Secret Glaive, it's a razor sharp projectile that seeks out the nearest enemy. So it's probably like a shuriken, razor sharp, you throw at your enemies. Or I don't know, they probably didn't show gameplay of that. I'm speculating right now. Now for the Acid Bomb, it's a grenade that explodes, splashing to all nearby enemies that are in the radius. Now for the Cryo Glaive, it's a projectile that locks on targets and freezes them on impact. So it's probably like an impact grenade. And they have Cluster Mine. It's a group of mines in a targeted area and explodes when it makes contact. Basically, you throw a grenade, you throw your mines. It sits in that spot, and if a target comes in that spot, it will blow up. If you know how mines work. Now the last is Spark Dash. Now Spark Dash is basically a dash that leaves behind a trail of electricity, and the enemies that go in that trail take damage. Now let's get to the strike systems of the Interceptor. I forgot to mention that. Now first they have a Star Strike, Plasma Star, Nova Strike, Tempest Strike, and Corrosive Spray. Now for Star Strike, the Interceptor charges at an enemy with energy which explodes after a delay. The explosion will increase damage if the target is destroyed before the delay. Basically, the Interceptor charges at an enemy with energy, and if the energy explodes before the enemy, if the enemy dies before the explosion goes off, it does extra damage. Now for the Plasma Star, is a plasma empowered shuriken which is most effective at long range. Now I'm pretty sure they showed gameplay of this. She was throwing it at a flying enemy, if I'm correct. Now the Nova Strike, it sends out a projectile which attacks enemies it comes in contact with. Now basically it's like probably like a copy of herself, and she sends it out. And it does damage to anyone. That would be tight. that's some ninja stuff right there. Now the Tempest Strike is a devastating single target attack that stuns small enemies. So this is probably like a AoE type thing. It'll stun one target, then it'll stun all the small enemies. That's good for clearing out ads. Now the Corrosive Spray, it sprays out a jet of corrosive acid that damages all enemies it hit. So basically you probably jet through the air and you probably drop acid, I'm guessing. I'm not really sure, but I go off speculation. Now for the support system, she has Target Beacon and Rally Cry. Now for Target Beacon, it marks a target after basically you mark a target and you do increase all your allies do increased damage to that target, and if that target dies, it goes to the next target, and it just keeps going on until it goes on cooldown. That is good for ad clearing or singling out a boss. Like you could pop the Target Beacon and all your allies can just pop their ults and do damage. Now he has Rally Cry, which removes all status effects from all allies. Say like you're frozen, you're poisoned or anything. With Rally Cry, you can remove all that. Now for the ult, it's the Assassin Blaze. You already know how that go. Now the Assassin Blaze, it shows the true strength of the Interceptor. It becomes supercharged and carves through enemies like butter, and is invisible. Basically, not invisible. Like you just if you cannot take damage while you're in this state. Basically, you just one shot in the ass, just going through chopping shit, just going through chopping things, like it's nothing. But now we're gonna get onto the Storm. And yeah, we go get into the storm right now. Alright, now for the storm, we started as basically the mage of the group. Now we go off over the blast seals, the focus seals, and the support seals for storm. All the abilities and skills. Now for the blast, we're gonna start off with blast seals. Now for blast seals, it has lightning strike, ice storm, flame burst, rime burst, living flame, and that is all. Now, the lightning strike is basically what it is. You strike, you strike down lightning on people in that certain area. And also, if the enemies are in water, they take double damage from the lightning strike. So that's a plus. Now, ice storm. It creates a field of ice that deals damage and rapidly build into a final explosion. Now, we haven't heard of that ability before, so this is something brand new. Well, for me, it might be for you too. Now for flame burst, it's a quick explosion that deals fire damage at a target location. Basically, you throw fire at that, a certain location, and it burns enemies that are, in that fire. Now for the rime blast, it fires off a flurry of ice projectiles that deal damage and freezes close range targets. Now just throw out shards of ice. Freezes the enemies. Basically, what it says. Now for the living flame, the storm shoots out a burst of flame energy that seeks out and ignites targets. Now that is tight. You could probably throw like a live fireball, and it'll just fire. Just follow that designated target, and it just explodes and ignites them. Now it's pretty tight when you think about it. You probably speculate what it'll be like. Now for the focus seals, you have hoarfrost shards, fireball, ball lightning, glacial beam, arc burst. Now for the hoarfrost shards, it fires a rapid fire shards of ice that slowly freezes a target in place. Basically, it's probably the weapon that we all know about for for the storm, with the he shoots out the rapid fire of ice shards. We've probably seen that already. Now for the fireball, it fires an ability that can be fired quickly in a small shots, or the fireball can be charged for a large projectile that can explode on enemies. Now for ball lightning, the storm shoots out a discharge of electricity to an enemy that bounces off walls to reach its targets. Basically, it's, just imagine, just a basketball, to be honest. You're just going around shocking people. Now, we go off to glacial beam. The storm shoots out a beam of powerful ice energy in a target direction. Basically, it's like I said, you shoot a beam of ice that just shoots at an enemy, probably freezing them, or doing the effect later on if you keep shooting with the beam. Now for arc burst, the storm shoots out a blast of lightning that will keep leaping to nearby targets for heavy damage. Basically like chain lightning. It'll just bounce off of enemies doing heavy damage to each other. I don't know how long it will last, but it sounds like it's doing a lot of damage right there. Now we're going to the support seals for the storm. He has wind wall and nexus. Now for the wind wall, it's basically like I said, it puts up a defensive wall of wind that deflects incoming projectiles. Now for the nexus, it is a field that provides gear cooldown reductions to teammates who are all in the ratios. Now it just basically cool down. It just it lowers the cooldowns of all the your allies' abilities basically. Now for the alt is crazy, bro. It's called Element Storm. Now the storm emits successful blast of fire, frost, electricity, and it ends off with a massive meteor slam. It's pretty tight when you see it. Now you probably have seen it because they showed off the alt many of times. Now we go get into the last one. It's actually the Colossus, and yeah, tell me what you guys thinking about the Javelin so far. Now we finna get into the Colossus, the last one, and then we'll go into my opinion and which one you think will be the most popular. Alright, we can get into Colossus right now. Alright, now we're gonna go off with the Colossus, aka the tank of the group. Now we go over his melee abilities, his launcher abilities, his heavy assault launcher abilities, his support gear, and his ultimate. Now for his melee ability is Heavy Smash. Now the Colossus, he a big dude, so he dives in the air and does a heavy slam attack. Now the slam can clear out enemies, or it can also knock down smaller enemies and leave them open for your teammates to clear them out more faster. Now that's it for the melee ability. Now for the launcher gear, he has Heavy Explosive Motor, Burst Motor, Firewall Motor, Lightning Coil, Shock Coil. He has a lot. Now for the High Explosive Motor, the Colossus shoots out an explosive projectile that deals heavy damage, area of effect damage to in that area. Basically, like, it's kind of like a huge motor, but not like a. It's basically like a huge motor, basically. Now for the Burst Motor, it's a valley of small motors that spreads out to the pummel of wider AOE. Basically, you shoot out multiple motors, and just smooth out. Yeah, just basically shoot out smaller motors, and they hit a wider effect of that area. Now for the Firewall Motor, it's a specialized motor round that ignites a wall of flame and heavily damages enemies that try to move through it. Basically like a line of fire, basically. Now the Lightning Coil. The Lightning Coil strikes a single random target with an arc of electricity in front of the Colossus. Basically, it just shoots an arc of electricity, bounces off enemies. That's basically what it means. Now the Shock Coil emits a wave of electricity out from the Colossus, damaging all nearby enemies. You release one powerful shock, and it shocks all the enemies in the area. Now that's it for the launcher gear. Now we get into the heavy assault launcher gear. That's where the big guns, basically. Now he has the heavy cannon, a flamethrower, a flat cannon, and a railgun, and an acid spitter. Now for the heavy cannon, it is a large rocket in a targeted direction. Basically, a heavy cannon. You just basically shoot a cannon at your enemies. Is kind of like a minigun of some sort. Now he has a flamethrower. Flamethrower, you just shoot off fire continuously. Doing fire. Igniting your enemies lighting them on fire, basically. Now he has a flat cannon. Now this flat cannon barrages nearby enemies with a short range arc of projectiles, basically like a shotgun. That's what basically what it means. Now it's the railgun. The railgun is a single target weapon with a force and a precise kinetic round. Basically, just precise. Just straight ahead. No type of missing. And the acid spitter. Now the acid spitter is basically what it says: the acid projectile that damages enemies in the area. Now that's all for the heavy assault launchers. Now we go get into the support gear that comes with the Colossus. Now he has a taunt and a deflector pulse. The taunt, is basically all the enemies in that area, they take off focus off your allies and just focus on you. So that's basically your main tank move. And the deflector pulse, it gives nearby enemies a damage resistant buff. But take less damage for all your allies. Now for the ult, the siege cannon, boy, this thing is like a nuke, basically. It's basically like a nuke. That shit is crazy. It's like a mini nuke in your hand. It is so tight. I love it. I love that ult. But it's really good for clearing out ads and doing like major big boss damage. Bruh, just imagine that with the buff you get from the ranger. Oh my goodness, you gonna be doing damage. Now that's basically all the javelins, all the abilities, all the traits, all I explained. Now which one do you think will be the most popular in the game? Now for me, I honestly think either the storm or interceptor, or possibly the storm or the interceptor or the ranger. But my personal opinion, I think the storm will be the most popular, because who doesn't like being a mage, bringing down lightning, using all the elements to your ability? Like who doesn't want to do that? Like, that's fun. But that's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments section below on which one you think will be the most popular. But I ran on long enough. The video finna be 20 minutes. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you stayed this long, comment June in the comment section if you guys stayed that long. I would really want to see who really watched the whole video. But I hope you guys have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe for more Anthem videos, and don't forget to turn on post notifications, and my Twitch is below. And have a good day, guys.